At dawn, the minarets are silhouettes. The market's wooden shutters creak open. Old stones clatter beneath a horse-drawn cart. In the Aleppo citadel's golden light, dust floats. Mothers call their children. Merchants arrange spices and silk, while potters fire their kilns. There is a story behind every stone here. Every arc, every fountain echoes of conquest, trade, survival. This is Aleppo, a city that has lived many lives. From Bronze Age ramparts to Ottoman merchants to modern scars. We begin here, at sunrise, as the city stirs, carrying centuries in its breath. The mound of ancient Aleppo lies beneath the citadel hill, layers upon layers of human occupation, stones over stones. Scholars date some of the earliest fortified settlements beneath the citadel to the early 2nd millennium BCE, roughly 2000 to 1800 BCE, when Aleppo became a regional hub for trade between Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and the Levant. Assyrian records from the 15th to 14th centuries BCE mention Aleppo as Ḥalab, the faithful city, a site of tribute and diplomacy. Archaeological excavations, notably by French and Polish teams starting in the mid-20th century, have uncovered strong walls of beaten earth, tombs, ceramic wares, and imported goods, slags of metals, amphorae from Cyprus. Radiocarbon dating of organic remains in those layers refines the chronology. Early city walls c. 1800 BCE. Expansion of domestic districts by 1500 BCE. Trade was the lifeline. Aleppo sat on routes that carried forest products from the Taurus and Amanus mountains, cedars, firs, copper and tin from Anatolia, and agricultural produce down to the Mediterranean. Pottery styles show Canaanite, Hurrian, and Hittite influence. Houses had courtyards, flat roofs, and water cisterns. The earliest palatial or administrative architecture is sparse but present in inscriptions and fragments of monumental ashlar masonry. By 900 BCE, Aleppo was no longer just a node, it's a capital. The Neo-Assyrian Empire claims Ḥalab, its kings reinforce city walls, practice resettlement, and develop monumental architecture. Palaces rise on the citadel mound, gates are enlarged, city planning becomes more visible in street alignments. Archaeologists have uncovered ash layers consistent with Assyrian campaigns but also signatures of restoration. Inscriptions in Akkadian and Aramaic speak of royal decrees and tribute. When the Neo-Hittite principalities emerged, after the collapse of the Hittite Empire at 1180 BCE, Aleppo remained influential, often contended, but never unimportant. Local rulers commissioned sculpture, reliefs, stelae. Temples are rebuilt. Forested hills behind Aleppo supply timber, stone quarries below the citadel provide building material. The city becomes a blend, imperial, local, cosmopolitan. Cultural fusion shows in art motifs, metallic jewelry and glass paste reflect long trade routes that reach Egypt and Babylon. The archaeology of this period is rich: polished shard ceramics, imported ivories, Assyrian relief fragments, pottery stickers, stratigraphic layers showing both prosperity and destruction. Modern excavations, United Nations, University of Pennsylvania, Turkish and Syrian teams have dated many of these finds via radiocarbon, thermoluminescence, and contextual excavation. We know which houses survived which invasion, which religious sites were rebuilt. The rise is not smooth. As Aleppo grows, so do its political and environmental pressures. With the Arab-Muslim conquest of 638 CE, Aleppo became a major provincial capital. Under Umayyad, Abbasid, then Hamdanid rule, it thrives. The Hamdanids, 10th to 11th centuries, embellish the citadel, erect palaces, and patronize scholars and poets. Aleppo becomes famous for its textiles, soap, and citrus, its mosques, madrasas, and its reputation for learning. The Crusade saw sieges and destruction, but also rebuilding. Under Ayyubid and then Mamluk rule, 13th to 16th centuries, the city's markets, souqs, caravanserais, baths, and religious schools expanded. The citadel is fortified with new gates, the entrance ramp improved, the grand stone gates rebuilt. The Great Mosque is enlarged, ornate minbars carved, intricately decorated wooden ceilings added. Aleppo soap became famous, carried via trade routes to Cyprus, Egypt, Mediterranean ports. Modern archaeological work has excavated layers of Mamluk madrasas, Ottoman renovations, and pre-Islamic foundations. Scholars use dendrochronology to date wooden beams, epigraphy to read inscriptions, restoration records to trace lost ornamentation. Archaeobotanical analyses reveal gardens of citrus, mulberry, and other trees. Archival sources speak of guilds and merchant families, weaving, metalworking, dyeing. The city's wealth rises from its position as a hub in the Silk Road networks and the Levantine trade web. No city remains untouched by conflict. In 1260, the Mongols thundered into Aleppo. There is archaeological evidence of burnt layers and collapsed walls, though restoration followed under Mamluk and early Ottoman rule. By the Ottoman period, 1516 to 1918, Aleppo was a key node in imperial commerce. Silk, spices, coffee, caravans from Anatolia and Persia. The famed Khan al-Wazir, al-Najirin, caravanserais, and the great souqs grow. But with empire comes competition. With the opening of sea trade routes in the Age of Sail, Aleppo's overland routes lose some of their dominance. The railroad and telegraph bring new ties but also expose economic dependencies. Environmental stress mounts, water supply problems, earthquake damage, fires in densely packed wooden markets. Population increases strain infrastructure, conflicts between rival guilds and communal factions happen. Archaeological documentation, Ottoman archival sources, maps, travelers' accounts, and modern restorations tell us about these layers. Excavations uncovered Ottoman-era bathhouses, renovated mosques, and painted wood ceilings. Restorers have catalogued carved stone facade panels. Oral histories tell of families living in souqs for generations. Syrian architectural conservation efforts in the late 20th and early 21st centuries documented lost mosaics, wooden mashrabiyah, and decorative facades. Modern archaeology in Aleppo began in earnest in the 1930s, 1940s. French, Syrian, and German teams explored its citadel, examined the souq facades. Beginning in the mid-20th century, restoration projects attempted to maintain the great Umayyad, Ayyubid, Mamluk monuments. Scholars published on Aleppo's architectural typologies, domes, vaults, muqarnas, stone carving styles. Epigraphers collected and translated Christian, Islamic, Armenian, Jewish inscriptions. In the last decades before 2011, Aleppo was a UNESCO City of Heritage. The Great Mosque, the Citadel, the old souqs, the madrasas, the hammams, all drawn for visitors. Preservationists documented paint, woodwork, mosaic floors. Use of 3D scanning, LiDAR, and photogrammetry digitized the city's monuments. Archival maps from Ottoman times, traveler diaries, city registers helped reconstruct lost neighborhoods. Then war arrived. From 2012, Aleppo's historic core was heavily damaged. Monuments, markets, ancient revetments, wooden roofs burned, stone facades collapsed. Modern heritage conservation efforts scrambled to document damage, rescue salvageable ornamentation, and move endangered objects. International teams worked under fire, photographing before collapse, scanning before ruins fell. These efforts are now part of Aleppo's narrative, loss, but also resilience. The modern world knows its heritage not only through what has survived, but what was saved at the last moment. What does Aleppo leave us, amidst damage and centuries of life? A legacy of layered identity. Of a city that housed Hittites, Arameans, Assyrians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Ottomans, each leaving stone, inscription, mosque, souq. A legacy of trade routes that moved goods and ideas, cedar, stones, spices, arts. A legacy of writing, cuneiform references, Aramaic inscriptions, Arabic poetry. Cultural products, silk weaving, soap, music, religious learning. Aleppo also teaches us about fragility and persistence. When walls crumble, when fires burn woodwork, when markets fall silent, people rebuild. Reconstruction efforts today, local craftspeople, sculptors, mounting epigraphists, are part of the continuum. The city's stones, though cracked, speak. The markets, though altered, still pulse. The shape of life in narrow alleys, the scent of spice and coffee, the sound of calls to prayer, these survive in memory and revival. As dawn rises again over the citadel, imagine turning eastward, following the river roads from Syria into Mesopotamia. The cradle of civilization awaits, Uruk, city of walls so high they framed the horizon, city of scribes, ziggurats, first tablets. From Aleppo's laird tells to Uruk's monumental emergence, the story of cities pulses onward.